Hello and welcome to another edition of Stockwatch. As we get into the back end of the trading week, earnings reports just keep on giving, and Coca-Cola was in the front line yesterday after it beat its quarterly 2 expectations and actually raised its revenue expectations as well, or its forecast for the year, after a significant bounce back in business, which if you think about it is quite a contrast to this time last year when a lot of restaurants and catering establishments were closing down because of the pandemic. So let's just take a look at the numbers then. Coke's organic revenue climbed 37% in the quarter of Q2, and analysts had only been expecting a 29.3% growth. So obviously and naturally, especially across America, as more catering establishments and restaurants and other just basic shops are opening, then the Coca-Cola sales are actually jumping higher. Coke shares did rise by nearly 3% in yesterday's session, which we'll take a look at shortly, and the stock is actually up almost 2% from the beginning of the year. So the only thing that they said is going to be a bit cautious is the supply chains and the deliveries going into 2022, as obviously a lot of people are still working from home, not working from home, are decided to stay at home because of the government checks, which are expected to stop in the next month or so. But until then, there could be a bit of a bottleneck with deliveries and supply chains. So they did actually say it could put a little bit of pressure on the company going into 2022. And just another company I want to talk about, is Verizon, as they have reported, a record second quarter in their telecommunications, and this is due to the 5G adoption as well. So their numbers included a $1.40 in earnings per share versus $1.37, and an operating revenue of almost $34 billion. So very, very buoyant for the company there. So I just want to take a look on Coca-Cola first of all today. Just going to look on the daily charts today because these are the ones that I see more significantly. The last time we looked at Coca-Cola, I was looking at this ascending channel. We did fall out of the channel in recent sessions, but as you can see, we've bounced back inside, and now we're looking again to move towards the top channel, at least probably up to the $60 range, which will be very, very, very significant. The only thing I could say at the moment, which I noticed, is there is a slight bearish divergence on the RSI. It could look like it is slightly oversold, so we could see a little bit of a come down in prices, but then I'll be expecting another push to the upside very, very shortly. We're trading very high above the Ichimoku cloud as well, so that's quite significant, and another move to the upside is ominous as well. So just keep an eye. If you are using the Ichimoku indicator like I do for open and closing positions, just keep an eye that we're not we're not going too far to the top side of the border at least. So if we keep away from that and the base and convergent line of the indicator, then things will look, the bias should look certainly towards the upside. So just something to keep an eye on there. And Verizon, a very, very good session for them. As you can see, prices did, the candles did bounce back after the little dip that it had. The only thing I would say about this particular stock is we seem to be in a bit of an area here where it's not really, a very top and bottom here of a couple of dollars. So $55 to $57, $58. If we break above $57, $58, I don't see any reason why we can't, get to these previous peaks that we saw earlier up to the $60 range. However, there is a slight chance that we could hit the trough here and move back down to the lower regions of $50 as well. So, nothing too much in the way of divergences. You could say there is a slight bearish one here. But then again, in fact, it probably isn't even one to consider. It's very, very small and insignificant at the moment. So, just looking at these prices here, sorry, I'll make that a bit more clear. This downside here, if it did start picking up, you could say there's a divergence, but it's very, very minimal. So I wouldn't really take it into account if we're opening and closing positions here. So just keep an eye on the stocks for the earnings seasons. Very, very buoyant at the moment, and stocks are jumping everywhere. all the time, and there is an expectancy that because the pandemic is coming to an end, that a lot of stocks will release a very, very strong quarterly 2 earnings report for now. We'll see how Q3 goes, but for now, it is supposed to be an expectant, very, very positive earnings season. So that's all from the Stock Watch today. As usual, thank you very much for joining me. If you have any comments or queries, please feel free to add them to the post, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great trading day ahead, and bye for now.